hanging out with everybody, and I'll tell you after.
As your host, we would like to offer an invitation for you and for our student athletes. Please join us in the time of prayer. Lord God, we thank you for the gift of sports. Let our actions today reflect your character and grace as we enjoy the gift of athleticism. We thank you for the opportunity to host Springfield College on our campus, and we pray for the safety and protection of all, both on and off the floor. We pray that we might honor you in all that we do, especially through a demonstration of humility, patience, and self-control. May what we do here assist us in becoming better disciples in our journey of faith in Christ. Amen. Fans, at this time, we ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Hello and welcome to the Greenville versus Springfield Gymnastics meet on February 1st. We're so excited to have you guys today. This is presented by the Greenville Gymnastics Center. It is just a fun-filled, packed day. So today we do have myself, Asad Jooma, on the commentating side. I also have my co-host, James Marden. He is tuning in from Sweden over here. We're both just pumped. We're excited to give you guys an inside scoop on what's going on today. These guys look fired up. We're ready to go. The guys are doing their 5-minute touch right now, so we'll get going. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. And like Asad said, we got the meet starting here between Greenville and Springfield. We're going to start off with Greenville on floor and Springfield over on pommel horse. We got Greenville here coached by Zach Peters, former Nebraska gymnast, who is floor and vault specialist and CGA All-American as well there. And we also have Springfield coached by Matt Davis, who's on a 6-year head coach over at Springfield, and his group of assistant coaches, Cale Donnelly, Dante Cecil, and of course Norm, fixture in the Springfield Gymnastics team for many a year. And yeah, we're going to have a great competition here. I'm really excited to see what these guys got for us. And be a dual meet format, having switching off between the two different events. So starting with Greenville over on floor, and then we'll switch back and forth to pommel horse, and then Greenville will have the Olympic order of rotation, while Springfield has the club Olympic order.
So it looks like
one touch now.
I was gonna say, it looks like Greenville is starting up on floor today, so that lineup looks like Jackson Clapper, Braden Erickson, Ethan Poole, and Charles Kramer.
Yeah, this is the new this year 4-up, 4-count format for all events here. A little bit different than back when Asad and I competed back many years ago now, but a little bit tighter 4-up, 4-count, and 12-man lineup now, which is a little bit shorter lineup, making it a little bit more competitive to get onto those lineups as well. A little bit different, but should be some more, like it says in the background there, execution, execution, execution. Bit more of an emphasis on that nowadays.
I'm hoping. I'm excited to see some high flying gymnastics today. I do feel like both these teams are on the rise. I think that they've been putting up some great scores within the NCAA over the past couple weeks. With this new season, with this new lineup, and I think we're gonna see some pretty cool gymnastics today. So the idea is we're gonna be pointing out some people to watch. We're gonna be pointing out some skills to make sure that you guys are aware of what's going on. And any questions y'all have, just shoot them in the YouTube live chat box, and we'll make sure we comment back to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is going to be a super fun meet. Of course, please do engage. Feel free to ask your questions. We can do our best to answer them and give our somewhat expert opinion. And like Asad said, some big gymnastics coming out of these two schools. Greenville being a younger program. And here they go, getting started on floor.
Big double front from Jackson.
Nice. Slow it down.
The high flying triple. Small little hop.
Breathe, Clapper. Nice and easy. Come on. Nice. Breathe, Clapper. Show it off now. Let's go.
See where he throws the scale in for this floor routine. Now, James, remind me, he does still get the connection bonus, right, for the for that 2.5 punch layout?
Yes, 2.5 layout. He's getting the bonus on that. D to B plus 110.
And a stuck dismount. Love to see it.
Huge stuck double back there to finish off the routine. It was a really nice, clean set and a great way to start off the meet. Now we're heading over to the pommel horse. We'll start off with Jaden Laudenstein from Springfield. Starting off with a nice little scissor sequence. Get things going. Picking up here into his block work. Looking pretty strong here. Second flop coming up. Into the Tong Fei. Continues out of that nice and smooth. A 1-2-5 Magyar into the Savato. Coming up on the dismount here. And a little bit of a fight.
Show it off.
It makes a good call. Ups out of the pirouette dismount. And finishes up nice and clean there. But a great start, especially on pommel horse, to have a good hit routine to begin the day with.
So it looks like, James, you were right. They're going back and forth. That's the way this rotation's going to go. I do like that. I feel like that gives everyone a good view of the competition. You get to see every gymnast individually.
Yeah, that is real nice when you stagger it. It gives a little bit more pressure on some of the events, but at the same time, a much better viewing experience and a lot more fun as a gymnast, too, to be the only one going at any time. That's kind of the beauty of the dual meet. It's not so hectic, and you get a little bit more individual spotlight to shine in.
Well, up next on pommel, we got Felix Kreidman from Springfield, and up next on floor, we got Braden Erickson. Excited to see what these boys have ready in store. I believe this is Greenville's new facility for their gymnastics program. It's honestly just so exciting to see these new programs pop into the NCAA. It makes my heart so happy that we're seeing a couple new teams kind of come in. I mean, it's not just Greenville, you got Simpson as well. And I know there's a couple different women's programs as well that have been popping up over the past 2-3 years.
And speaking of exciting, great start there from Braden. Layout to double full, also getting bonus on that.
Show it off now, let's go.
And back with a nice double front, pretty clean as well. Double full down the side.
Tight.
Wow, sneaks around the 2.5 to front full, but pulls it out in the end.
Barely made that.
Yeah.
I think one common theme we're going to see on both teams this year from just their floor routines is that struggling on that scale.
Finishing up nicely with a full in there for the dismount. Little hot, but having full D dismount gets the full element group credit there and double flipping. So everything you could really look for in a good routine there, and really solid second set over on the floor.
You know, one thing I've noticed, James, is that with this new lineup, the way the new code has kind of come through, is we're seeing a lot more unique dismounts on floor. So you're going to see some double backs, you'll see some double pikes, those full ins, and I think that really brings the new competitive aspect to NCAA men's gym. But sorry, we do have Felix up on pommel right now, starting off clean.
A nice Tong Fei. Stepping up here through the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Magyar and back into the Savato. And up into his dismount, fighting a little bit there, but pulls it off. Similar to the last routine, nice clean execution with a little bit of a watered down dismount, but stayed on the horse, caught it through, and no major things wrong there. So really strong start for Springfield there. And no, I agree with that. I think it's really fun to watch these different constructions come through. I think one thing that Fig did get right with this was starting to add a bit more variation on floor, because it was getting to be a bit kind of formulaic how you put together those routines. And now
those iconic triple fulls as the dismount you see everyone doing, and now people are throwing these triples, triple and a halves in the middle of their routine. I do think it adds a layer of uniqueness to each of these routines.
Yeah, it is super fun to watch, and it just makes the sport that much more fun when you don't really know what everyone's routine is going to look like. You get to see a wider variety of skills, and you get to see a little bit more creativity from the athletes and from the coaches putting together these routines.
It looks like up next on floor we got Ethan Poole from Greenville. Start off big with the front double pike.
Tight.
E value score, or E value skill. And a good connection right there. Layout double front. If you guys notice, for the viewers that are watching, he kept his knees together on that double front. That makes a big difference, and these guys want to make sure their knees are together to avoid any of that deduction.
Breathe, Ethan.
No, James, remind me. The layout full is in a separate box than the tucked full, right?
Yes, those are two separate skills. So laid out full for a C, tucked full for a B. I think, I couldn't really tell through the screen there, but I think that was double full to tucked full. We'll have to watch it in the replay with a little bit more camera clarity.
But on the bright side, that scale was probably one of the best we're going to see today. He did hold it well. And he finishes off with a nice clean double pike. We love to see it. And it's so fun because double pike was an iconic dismount when it comes to women's NCAA gymnastics, but now we're seeing double pikes make an entrance to men's. And these guys are executing pretty well. So it's fun to see that little crossover.
Yeah, it's one of those skills that kind of fell out of men's gymnastics for a while because it was moved into the same box as a double tuck. It was also worth a C. So there was really never any incentive to do it in men's gymnastics, whereas, like you said, Asad, in women's gymnastics, that was a pretty iconic thing, both on the international circuit and in college gymnastics, and now we get to see it in men's too, which is super fun, and another one of those unique dismounts we're going to see a little bit more of. Now we're heading back over to horse with Devin Ellenstein. Sorry, Devin, if I messed that up. For Springfield here. Starting off with a little flop from the end up. working into the Magyar and then the Savato here. And up into his dismount. And, oh, that is why the other guys opted not to do the pirouettes. If you get a little bit off on your angle there, you can go from having a really nice dismount to just falling right off the horse. And a tough way to wrap up what was a really nice set before then. We'll see what the judges do with it in terms of credit. If they're generous to him, they'll give him full dismount credit, but then take the fall. If they're not, they might dispute whether or not that counted as a dismount. But from here, it did look like he did the full dismount and just didn't come to his feet on it.
Still a solid routine. These guys are fighting for every 10th. They're doing what they can. You know, one interesting fact, James, is on the Greenville roster, so when these guys move over to pommel, we do have the son of the inventor of the Roth on pommel, Matthew Roth. So we'll see if he's in the pommel lineup.
Let's see that, and let's see if he does the Roth. Eponymous skill from many years ago. But now we're back over to floor with the final one for Greenville, which is Charlie Kramer.
Yes, Charlie. Do your thing now. Let's go. Yes, Char.
Starting off strong. Good double front into a 2.5 punch lay.
Come on.
Could be a little better about those landings, even with that back layout right there, but he's pushing through.
Right.
Every single one of these 10s count, especially on an 8-skill routine. They gotta stick these landings.
Breathe, Charlie. Let's go. Come on down. Finish it up.
An interesting way to get into that scale, but he made it in. Taking that deep breath before his last line. Pulls out a nice clean double pike. Right to his feet. We're good to go. Nice little shout out for himself at the end of that routine. His team looks pretty hype.
And they should be. That was a great first rotation on floor. Really solid. It can be tough when you have those jitters in the first event to keep it together on floor, but Greenville did a great job. Stayed everyone on their feet and did a really nice way to open up the meet there. Our final routine over on pommel horse now for Springfield, starting off nice little more after the scissor. Going into the zone, that is a really nice skill. We'll flop down to the end there. 1-3-5 Magyar into the Savato. Up into the dismount, and that is how you do that. And another really nice routine for Springfield there over on the pommel horse. Actually, I think worth noting is that Devin's score there came in actually as the highest of the Springfield scores up until this point. Even with that fall, it was such a good routine otherwise that wound up with a 12-3, which for pommel horse is a very, very respectable score to wind up with, even without a fall. That's a pretty solid score to have. So not a bad routine, or not a bad rotation at all for Springfield there, even with one fall. Name of the game on pommel horse is just stay in the race. Make sure you don't have anything too big to have any issues with, and that they did that exactly.
So it looks like after the first rotation, we have Greenville leading with a 38.4. And Springfield just slowly, I apologize, with a event total of a 50.75 for Greenville, and we're still waiting for that last score in from Springfield on pommel horse, but they'll probably be trailing behind by just a second, so they'll be able to make that up on that next rotation when they switch over to floor.
And that's one of those tough things about watching gymnastics. I mean, it can seem like a team is way ahead of someone else, and then they have vault. Or pommel horse, one of those kind of odd scoring events, and it really throws things off. I think when we were watching the Olympics, we definitely saw that as teams kind of jumped all around the standings throughout the day. And of course, this year at the Olympics, one of the most interesting or craziest stories was just the number of falls that we saw on high bar, both in the team final and then also in the event final on high bar. It was just tough to watch.
Do not remind me, James. I was covering my
it was,
face the whole time while watching that.
that was rough, but hopefully we don't see that today. I don't know if there's something wrong with that bar, or if it was just the pressure that got to everyone, but that was a crazy, crazy thing to be happening in Paris this year.
But no, like James was saying, the scores do bounce, back and forth, and so we do see from that 3-point trail, it's actually now about a 2-point trail from Springfield. We're looking at 50.75 from Greenville.
Nice call. Nice, Matt. That's Probst. You see it's Probst? Yeah. Right there. Let's go, Rick.
If you catch my drift.
I don't, and I refuse to, but it was really nice and really well executed there by Will.
See what a dismount is? Double back with a stick. We take those.
Let's go, Rick.
That was a beautiful routine there to start it off for Springfield over on the floor, and a nice stuck landing. Yeah, really good way to start it off there. Nice McCulloch there on horse to begin things for Greenville. Scissor full end to end, scissor full back up, and into the circle work now. Ricky Mays here starting it off with some nice flop work. Here's a second flop sequence as well. Hong Fei end to end, real smooth circle out there into the Salvato. Up into his dismount here. He keeps it together, really nice. Great start for Greenville there on horse, and yeah, really big difficulty there as well.
You see that head coach Zach Peters over there just going hype for his team. I'm so happy for him. You know, you see all these NCAA guys who were competing just several years ago, you know, in their own respect, and now they're leading these new NCAA teams. It's honestly such a cool thing to be able to witness, but also just keeping that legacy of gymnastics alive. We really love that, and that's where the fuel of the sport really comes from.
It is fun to see how many of these NCAA guys get to stick around and yeah, remain part of programs, whether as head coaches, assistant coaches, or just being part of the community. It's yeah, a really strong group to be part of and really fun.
Ooh, well, extra power for Reichardt on Springfield, but he landed on his feet for that first pass on floor. You know, as much as I am not necessarily a fan of the scale within the floor routine, I do think that it does give these guys a way to breathe and take a second before doing some higher difficulty tumbling skills, especially with an 8-skill routine. These guys are throwing in a lot more difficulty, like that, ending with not ending, but you know, throwing a triple in as his second to last line.
It does break things up a bit and gives you an organic chance to get a breath in there.
Let's go, Cole!
Just shy of that landing on that double back.
Let's go, Cole!
Yeah, he put a little too much power into that first pass and just not quite enough into the last one. But still not a bad routine overall. We'll see what the judges do with it, but a pretty good set overall from Evan there. Now we're back over to horse with Kobe Kantu. Starting off on the end here. Also going scissor full up to the middle. Into his circle work. Starting off with a more. Into the flop sequence here. A little bit of a leg break, but nothing too bad there. Keeping it smooth and flowing. Into the second flop with a Russian. Then moving into his 1-3-5 Magyar. Back with the Salvato. Stepping up into the dismount now. Pops it up nice and smooth. That's a good set right there. Yeah,
you can see his team just getting crazy hype in that background.
Yeah, the coaches, the gymnasts, all getting really into that because that was a beautiful set and yeah, kept it together really smooth there. A lot of nice work there up on the one pommel and the double scored pretty well, it looks like.
Let's hope so. But up next, we have Caleb from Springfield up on floor. We'll see. I've seen a couple of videos of this guy, and he's definitely a powerful gymnast. So I'm excited to see what kind of floor routine he puts up today.
I think there's a few guys on this Springfield team that have some pretty monster tumbling, and Caleb is definitely one of them. I think we saw Will with a lot of power in that first routine. Evan coming with a lot of power too, and let's see what Caleb can bring to the floor.
Oh, he's doing those flares right up the handstand. You know, I love it. And that looked good. He made that look effortless. I will say that transition could use a little bit of work, but that's okay. He's powering through. Now, I don't know if they'll take off a 10th for his toes being right on the edge, but he did stick that, so he'll get that credit right there. Okay, No, Caleb with some sticky feet, 2 in a row. And a nice double back to finish off. Small little 2-10 dismount, 3-10 dismount, a deduction on that landing for being out of bounds, but he did get it to his feet. I think Springfield will be pretty happy with that routine.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a pretty big start to that routine too, with the front full to double front and then the double coming back. So that's going to be a pretty high value routine, and we'll see how they do with the execution there. Now we're heading back over to horse with Matthew Ross, who we were talking about in the break in between. Let's see what he can bring to the horse. Scissor fold down to the end there, picking up into some circle work. Bailey back up into the middle. Nice into the flop work there. Second flop here, softer flop down to the end there. Backing those circles in a really nice way. That picks up a good bit of difficulty there. And then Magyar Salvato, nice and clean. The quick up into the handstand, 720, 2 pirouettes down and back. And he's excited about that one. That was a really nice
that was Matthew Roth. I mean, it makes sense. His dad is a pommel legend, so of course he has to come back and make sure that he does a good routine.
Absolutely, making his dad proud there, I'm sure. That was a really, really nice routine, and yeah, really well executed, pretty high difficulty, and you see, I mean, some of it's got to be genetic.
No, I can't think of any specific names right this second, but I do know that he's not the only one with a gymnastics legacy, with a parent who has had the skill currently in the NCAA. So I do think that that's so cool. Sorry, so let's just start off with him doing a scale as his first skill on floor. That was crazy, but I mean, he did stick the double floor right afterwards. So this is just starting off to be a wild floor routine to begin with. Okay, and another stick. Okay, he's still going. He's making it work. Clean double full. James, what were your thoughts on that scale being the first skill that he put up? That was wild.
I've been quiet this whole routine because I've been in shock, but that was pretty awesome way to start it off. I've seen one other person mount the scale, and he had a broken back. So this is a first for me.
And a good clean double back to finish up. You can tell he had enough power to probably do a full in there. So he's probably looking for an upgrade towards the end of the season. Team looks happy. He looks happy with that routine. Love to see it.
Yeah, solid finish up on floor there for Owen Carney. That was a really nice set. And yeah, super clean execution. Stuck the first 2 passes and then had a bunch of, pretty nice, solid landings the rest of the way through. So a great routine for Springfield to finish it up there. Now we're going over to the anchor on pommel horse for Greenville. We got Henry Silva mounting up with a scissor there, right into the more, into the zone. Up into his flop work here, Stockley, and back into the middle. We go into the second flop here. It'll be a Russian flop down to the end there. And we get the 1-3-5 stand on the 11 all the way and back over the handle for the Salvato. And starting off his Russian dismount here. Let's see, can he pop it up? There you go. Another really nice horse head for Greenville there to finish up that rotation.
Wait, James, that was kind of crazy because you don't see many Russian dismounts anymore. I feel like that was pretty common back in JO, maybe 10 years ago. But to be honest, even in the NCAA over the past couple of years, you have not seen that. So that was a unique dismount that I was kind of pumped to be able to see.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I think a lot of it has to do with the rules because of the way that they count the Russians. You notice there he did actually 4 Russians in order to get credit for what is called a triple Russian dismount, or used to be called a triple Russian dismount. But yeah, having to do 4 Russians and hit 45 degrees, very difficult, super heavily deducted, which is why a lot of people have been avoiding it, but not for Henry there. That was a really nice dismount and a really nice set from him overall.
No, we do love to see it.
And you see the scores coming in now. We were talking a lot about Matthew Roth's horse routine, but for good reason. It came in as a 14-1, which is just a massive score to be getting on pommel horse, especially at this point in the season.
So it looks like Springfield did take the lead over this last rotation. It looks like Springfield is ending with a 98.1. That's pretty high. And Greenville trailing just a little bit with a 91.5. I do think that with their rings lineup, they should be able to put up some good scores. But you do have vault with Springfield. They're coming in with a pretty high scoring event. I will say that with the vault changes, everything has been downgraded by 0.4, so we might see some lower scores a little bit, even with the rings total. We'll see how this one shakes out.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. I mean, we've been watching vault get downgraded every year. I think it was 0.4 and then a point and then another 0.4, and it's funny because it still winds up always being one of those higher scoring events, regardless of anything else. So we'll see what scores come in like this time, but yeah, it's been a bit different throughout the years, and yeah, hopefully that gets to level the playing field a little bit.
Cruz, look at the text. It's good? I can't see it, so is it good?
Competitors, your 2 minutes test begins now.
Hey, Cruz, I think you have to tilt it up more. Can you put something under it?
That concludes the 2 minute test.
Hey, all you boys, let's go! Come on, Paul!
Hey. Cruz. Let's go, Rick.
That is, but okay, it looks like we got Ricky Mays up on ring starting off.
He's starting off here with a nice backup rise to straight planche. Did it for the full 2 seconds. Picked up a little bit of swing already, but not too bad. Back into another straight planche. He kills the swing there, coming back down to the inverted hang.
Breathe, Rick. Let's go.
Into his Yamawaki tuck. There you go. And back up rise hand there. Really nice and smooth. Good control.
Fight.
Back giant. Little bit of fight there, but not too bad again. Double layout full. I don't know if that was a tiny step or not, but that was a huge routine, really well executed there, and a really strong start for Greenville.
And he's a tall guy, so being able to do that double layout full at the end of the routine, honestly, is a testament to his own strength and ability. That was pretty cool.
That was a great routine there.
Yeah, it looks like we got Will Wilson, powerful guy on floor from Springfield. We'll see if he puts up a big vault. I'm actually really excited for this. Clean double full. We like that small little hop, but he did what he needed to.
Yeah, that was a really nice vault there from Will Wilson, and I think, I think he could be upgrading that vault at some point soon. You saw how high he landed with his chest up, really nice there. A lot of power there, and definitely potential for even more there, but a really clean vault to start off Springfield. Next up, we got Charlie Kramer over on the rings.
And Zach Peters up in the background. Just calm, collected, trying to make sure everything's going well for his team.
Yeah, that's one of those things, especially as a young coach, is just tough to do, is manage emotions on the team. And it looks like Zach's doing a great job keeping the guys motivated, keeping them in the game the whole time. It's, really a big responsibility for the coach. I mean, also lifting is important here, so let's see how he does with that. Masterful execution by Zach there. But yeah, the coach has a big responsibility there, and especially a younger guy like Zach is doing a really great job inspiring this new group, especially with a young program.
I mean, this program's only, 2 years old?
Come on, Charlie.
Yeah, it's super fresh. A lot of young guys there, a lot of potential, but also a lot of responsibility at the same time.
Breathe.
Charlie working into his Yamawaki here. Back up rise L.
Got a small swing.
Picked up a little bit of swing. Let's see if he can kill it here on the giant.
Come on.
And there you go. Perfect timing on the bail there. Closed the swing really nicely.
Come on. Find it. Boom.
Works through into a fast giant. Double tuck full. Beautiful stick.
Yeah, that was nice. We like to see that.
He's happy about that. And yeah, that was a great way to finish that routine. Not super high difficulty, but really clean, stuck the dismount, and that's everything you can try to do on rings.
I agree. It looks like we have Evan Reichert on vault for Springfield. See what vault he puts up today. Another great clean double full. Legs together the whole time. Honestly, that was a really clean double full from the starting of that. I don't think he got anything off from the table at all. Took a small little step, but overall that was great.
I was gonna say, legs were locked together on the way up onto the table, and legs together the whole time twisting. I mean, double full it doesn't seem like that much, but when you come on, you have a half twist to go, and then 2 twists off. It's actually 2.5 twists, 2 flips. It's a lot of flips, a lot of gymnastics to do, and to do it that cleanly is really impressive. So 2 solid rings routines and 2 solid vaults to start off the rotation here. Both teams seem to be hitting their stride pretty well in this meet, coming towards the halfway point.
Show it off, Sergey.
That's one of the things that these guys do right before they get up on their event. They're visualizing, they're practicing, they're putting their arms up, they're trying to do the whole routine in their head before they go up. And I think it's such a good tactic. It really helps them, just get prepared mentally for a meet like this or a routine like this.
And that's one of the hardest things, really, is just getting yourself in the right mindset before you go into a routine, making sure that you're ready for it, both physically but also mentally is a huge component of that. Yeah, visualization and making sure that you just know exactly how you want to put yourself in every one of those positions, especially on something like rings, just to get your crosses level, your planches really nice and flat. It's that's tough. We got Sergey starting off here.
Let's get it.
You know, a name like Sergey, you know he's going to be doing a big routine.
Oh, definitely. Sergey Popov, I competed against this kid a long time ago in Region 6, and he's always been an absolute beast. Comes in here, kip up to the Maltese. Nice and flat.
Breathe.
Kip up to the, kip up to pike.
Drive.
Breathe. Up Yamawaki into the pike Yamawaki. Uprise L.
Tight. Turn.
The straight body bent arm press. Goes into his giant.
Oh, I like that handstand.
A really nice handstand there. Fast giant smooth. Double layout full. A little off there, but a really nice routine from Sergey. Super clean. You see, he didn't really pick up any swing there, that's one of the places that you can get really hammered on deductions on rings, and he basically had none of that, which is really big.
I think one cool thing that we're going to see this year, James, is a lot more strength elements up on rings, especially with the lower amount of skills these guys have to do. But sorry, let's pop over to vault real quickly. Caleb Palacio up on vault.
Oh,
massive double front. Whoa! He got so much height. Oh, that's going to be such a big score. Oh, he could have easily added a half onto that if he really wanted. He could have piked that if he wanted to. That was an insane amount of vault.
Show it off,
oh
Ethan.
My.
Oh, I love to see that.
I honestly, we saw his warm-up, and we were even talking about it already then, but I did not expect it to be that massive of a handspring double front. I mean, that was just huge. I mean, he could have, easily piked that or halved out of it or something. That was a huge vault, though, for Caleb.
That was crazy. I love that.
Yeah, and he had time to open up out of that and still had a little hop forward. Just goes to show you just how much air he had there and how much rotation he had off the table. It was a huge, huge vault.
No, I'm calling it now. He's going to make NCs on vault, and he's probably going to be an All-American this year. He's going to be a contender for one of those, especially with that powerful of a vault.
Yeah, that's really huge. I mean, he's only a sophomore, so that gives him, he's got that vault this year, and he has time to continue to upgrade that and to execute it even cleaner and maybe even upgrade it in the 2.5 years he has left ahead of him in the NCAA.
Get aggressive. Let's go.
And now we're heading over to our final routine over on the rings for Greenville. It's Ethan Poole.
Come on, E. Show it off, Ethan. Let's go. Tight.
Ethan starts off with the back up rise to Maltese. Nice and smooth. A lot of control there. I mean, it's those little things, coming down out of the Maltese in such control shows the strength here. Tip to L. Down into the cross, real smooth.
I always love that transition to a cross.
Yeah, it's just a smooth, classy way to get into your cross. Right into the pike yam. And pushes so smooth up into the uprise hand.
You can tell how much strength that took.
A lot of strength. And finishes off with, I guess you'd call it a double layout, but maybe a double pike depending on the judge. But a solid routine there from Ethan. And really smooth. Other than that dismount, basically very little room for deduction.
I mean, you got to show that full laid out position on that dismount. So we'll see what the judges give it. But popping over to vault over here, we got Owen Carney from Springfield. And a beautiful anchor on Springfield for vault. We love to see a good stuck double full. He did exactly what he needed to do as the last guy up on that event. Whole team is hyped. That'll probably be a big score for Springfield up on vault.
And we see the scores roll in now. Yeah, we were talking about Caleb, and you see that 14.15. I think that's the highest score of the meet so far by anyone.
And he took a
vault.
massive hop on that too, so that could have been even bigger for him if he had just controlled that landing.
Yeah, that was a really big vault, and I mean, you see why we were talking about it so much. That's a big score, and well deserved there by Caleb. We'll see how the final two scores roll in, but then we're going to start heading over into the touch warm-up before the next set of events. And that marks the halfway point for the meet. Now we have 3 rotations down, 3 more to go.
You guys are moving along quick. I mean, 45 minutes for 3 rotations, James. That is unheard of within our time.
Yeah, that is super, super fast. We'd be lucky to get.
Two, 7. Hey, we're 1, 2, 3, and 4 on pommel.
Competitors, your 2-minute one touch begins now.
Yeah, some guy pushed it. I would probably pull it back. Just wait till everyone's done, though. Hey, Kev. Kev? Kevin. Kevin Larino. When they start, just make sure you guys are all good. Maybe I should do some filming. It'd be a cool shot. Just vault, you know, just cinematic. Dos, 10. Let's go, Cole. Find it. Let's go. Come on. Oh! More again. A crew pick and a club sandwich.
Now we have Gustav and Seuss. Let's see what he's got for us on the ring. Nice uprise cross, coming in super level there. No deduction on that. Hip to L. Another nice cross there. See how crisp
Oh,
those
that's a
positions
solid
are. The
cross.
Real nice L. Yeah, super flat across there. You got to have your rings inside the shoulders, but he's doing it even more perfect than that, straight across. Pike yam into the tuck yam. Kills the swing super nice on that uprise L. Rolls out into the uprise hand. Super nice handstand there as well. Double tuck full. And a super nice stick there.
Let's go, Brayden.
That's how you finish up routine.
Yeah, super nice, super crisp positions, and a super nice stuck landing.
It looks like we got Braden Erickson up on Greenville for vault. Let's see what he puts up. And a great 2.5. A little bit of struggle on that landing, but that's going to be a pretty high score in a vault for today. He made that look kind of easy.
Yeah, super floaty there, and yeah, he did take a step, but I mean, he gets 4 extra tenths in the start value there, and pretty clean in the air, just having a bit of a jump out on the landing. But not bad at all. Really solid 2 first vaults and first 2 rings routines for this rotation.
Gustavin Seuss up on rings. Is it pronounced Seuss? Like Dr. Seuss? Or is that a different spelling?
I don't know. We have to ask if they're related. I would assume so, though. I think he just went. We have Will Wilson up next on rings here. And we saw Will earlier on floor. A lot of power here, and that transfers usually pretty well to rings as well. You see guys that tend to be really strong on rings and floor, both having that sort of raw power type events. And he had pretty clean execution as well, so hopefully that translates to a solid ring routine for Will.
Okay, I need to make sure. Hey, I got all my goods. Beautiful work today. Thank you.
Seems like we have a lot of significant last names here. I mean, we had Roth, and then we also have Seuss. Could be a lot of legacy in this competition today.
And I was like, he did a great routine earlier. Really.
Legacy. Just not putting 2 and 2 together.
Well, Zach told me today, like, even
Hey, you had a bad joke earlier. I'm allowed to do it.
Now we're
And now we
having
got
fun
Will
with it.
starting up.
plays in our favor.
Shut up.
Zach knows.
Now we got Will starting up on rings here.
Right.
Starting up with the back uprise to straight body. Really nice, locked into that position, super smooth. Kip up to the straight body as well. And yeah, he's got that really nice counter lever on the planche there, super well executed. Into the tuck Yamawaki, back uprise to L. Little wobble in the handstand, but saves it. Nice back giant. heading into his dismount now. Giant through. Puck double, big dismount. A little bit of a step there, but massive dismount from Will Wilson.
Come on now.
Yeah, he seems like one of those powerful gymnasts who's just going to keep surprising us throughout the season.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential. I mean, like, not only is he doing some good stuff now, but a huge ceiling for him.
It looks like we got Jackson Clapper up on vault for Greenville. Massive 2.5. Wow. He made that look easy, and he's getting hyped.
Yeah, he really kicked out of that super well, too. You see the control that he had through that 2.5, finding the ground, spotting it over the shoulder, and just, I know he took a little hop, but he put his feet into that landing pretty confidently, which is super nice to see. That takes a lot of air awareness and also the height.
But which one's
well.
going to be more huge? You see his warm-ups?
Guilty?
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Now we're heading over to the anchor on rings for Springfield. We got Blaze Rousseau.
How were his landings in
Ones.
Rick?
Yeah. Wait, like, what do you mean?
Like,
They're in the center.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was doing a couple, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, where it was massive.
But drifts off.
And he was literally, I watched from behind.
All right, now the score comes in for Will Wilson, so it looks like we can get going on this last rings routine of the day.
Wow, 13-9, Mr. Clapper. Look at that.
Let's see what Blaze has in store for us. Starting off strong with another nice backup rise cross, super level again. Really there's a theme here with these Springfield routines. Super level crosses, some nice planches. Lowers down into a second cross here. Again, super flat. It's exactly what the judges are looking for.
Jackson did his vault, and I was waiting to go again on rings, and Zach looked at me.
Starting into his inlocate to the tight Yamawaki.
Tried to hop.
Pulling a little bit of a push there on that backup rise handstand.
It's like literally nothing.
That was it.
Nice back giant though to still the swing. Giant through. A tuck double to finish it off there. It's a really nice routine there from Blaze. Super strong, super well executed. That's a great rings routine.
Another big double-double. That was pretty big to see. Okay, looks like we got Ricky Mays from Greenville on vault. Oh, another big 2.5. And he looks pretty happy with that.
Yeah, he should be happy with that. I mean, that was the same like we said on the last one. You know, he saw the landing coming, he prepared for it, put his feet into it, and landed confidently. That was exactly what you want to do on vault. Nice, so we are now 4 rotations through, 2/3 of the way through this meet, and we are still in pretty much, super close contention between these two teams. We have 1 score left to come in for each of them, but it's a super close, really just, head-to-head competition here coming through the 4th rotation. Like we were saying, high bar can be a make or break point. P-bars also can be one of those events that sneaks up on you, so it's definitely not, coming to an end anytime soon. And Greenville pulls back into the lead here, 207 versus Springfield 203. So back in a little bit of a lead, but certainly not as big as it was before that last set of 2 events.
Looks like they got, on this next lineup for Greenville coming in, they have an extra guy competing. It'll be nice. It might be one of those, what are they, James, remind me again what they're called when they compete, but their scores aren't necessarily counted towards the team score?
Well, we could have 2 cases here. One could be if we have an alternate, or just someone who's out there doing just an alternate routine, which doesn't get counted, or it could be someone competing in the all-around, who could be doing the score just for their all-around score, not counting for the team. So it could go either way. Don't know which one it is here in this case. See, it looks like the fifth one up is Kevin Larino, who I don't think we've seen yet today. So it could be that he's putting in an extra routine here. This is something, especially in the early season, where you get to try to run someone out there, especially with the shorter lineups now, just to give someone some competition experience. Even if you know the score doesn't count, it's good to get out in front of the crowd, get a score from a real judge, and have that sort of experience to get out there. In front of real competition, which can be a bit of an unsettling thing, because these meets are loud when you're in person, and they're pretty high pressure.
I do think that this 4-up-4 count, I mean, it as wonderful it is for the viewership, it does take away a little bit of the opportunity for some of these guys to be able to get on that stage, be able to get a little bit of practice in before the NCAAs come up, before their conference meets come up. I mean, these guys are taking it like a champ. I mean, they're fighting for these lineup spots, and they're really doing whatever they can to make sure that they're the ones who are getting their scores counted.
Yeah, and that's one of those sort of trade-offs. I mean, the more people you have, the more scores that you have. It does give a bit more opportunity, which is awesome, but that also means that you have more scores getting judged, longer meets, and it can drag a little bit. I mean, I think we were talking about before, we used to have sometimes 8 people up on an event. If we had maybe 6 up in the rotation, 1 all-arounder and 1 alternate, who was a competing alternate. So you could wind up with these super long rotations. I mean, twice as long as these ones are now, which is, pros and cons to it. But this gives, a little bit of a faster competition. And certainly with the 8 skill routines, we see some more intense gymnastics. Like we were saying on floor, we're seeing only now maybe 4 or 5 passes compared to 7 or 6 passes that it used to be, which things are just a little bit different than before, but elevating the level of the gymnastics which is being done.
No, and I mean, like we were talking about earlier, like with Greenville up on vault with that high scoring rotation, even with the deduction of those routines in general from a FIG standpoint. I mean, Greenville pulled ahead of Springfield just a little bit, 207.25 ending that 4th rotation for Greenville, and Springfield just trailing a little bit with a 203.1. So we'll see what this next P-bar high bar rotation really shows us. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think this has been a super tight competition, and definitely one where, I mean, these two teams seem to be super evenly matched, obviously coming from very different places. Greenville being a super young program, only a couple years old. Springfield being sort of a storied program in the NCAA, one of the older programs with a ton of legacy in it, but coming from different ends of the spectrum. And I would say, both of them really in a growth phase right now. We've seen Springfield coming up over the last few years, especially with Matt Davis as their head coach, starting to grow a little bit more, both the roster size, but then upgrading a lot of routines. We've seen them get more confident, a bit higher execution across the board, and Greenville, really, I would say coming out of starting from zero and building up to a program that's this strong, this fast is super impressive, and something that I think, just a model for new programs to try to follow.
I'm hoping to see maybe 1 or 2 more teams pop up over these next couple of years. I do think it's a possibility, and we might see some smaller schools like Greenville and Simpson. But again, I mean, it's just bringing out NCAA gymnastics. I think that the more opportunity that can be given these JO gymnasts, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the expansion of Gym Act, getting some more teams there has been really great, but it's also important that we do have that NCAA backing with these programs coming in. I mean, it takes both, all levels of competition, Gym Act, NAIGC, and NCAA to give the right opportunities for JO gymnasts. And cutting quickly into the start on P-bars here. Really nice little sequence to start it off. Up into the Stutz for Donovan Devaney. Finishing up here, double front. Just a little step there, but a super nice routine. Short, clean, big dismount, but a super solid routine to start things off for Greenville.
With those viewers watching, you saw immediately they started adjusting those P-bars. They have a few seconds to get that done right before the next guy goes up. But we hopping over to high bar over here, we have Springfield starting off. Nice Yamawaki. Keeping it clean. Gearing up for a Tkachev. Nice clean catch. Stalled it right to handstand. And a double dismount. I do think that that's one thing, James, that we're seeing not just on floor, but we're seeing on rings and high bar as well. These guys have less skills in their routine. They're able to put up a bigger dismount with just a little bit more energy. So we're going to see some of these bigger dismounts just across the board in general. That was an overall great routine from Springfield.
Yeah, super strong start there from Springfield. Really nice routine, and yeah, huge dismount. And I think there is going to be more of that. We've already seen it coming. I think it was last week at Springfield, Frederick Douglass pulled out a triple-double off high bar, which is just something that would be unheard of if you had a 10-skill routine to do in front of it. But now, shorter routines gives a bit more opportunity for high-flying skills, and especially high-flying dismounts, which is always super fun to watch. Now moving back over to Jacob Foster on P-bars. Starts off with a
peach half to handstand. We love that.
Right into the peach hand. Super clean giant. Little bit of a balance check there. Reverse Puro into the Diom. Stutz, just a tiny leg separation. Pass into the double
and
pike.
Nice double pike.
Yeah, super clean routine there. Really solid start for Jacob there.
Quick shout to Jacob Foster from my hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee. He's been a legend in these areas, so just so exciting to see Tennessee putting up some of these guys in the NCAA. It's a really, really fun feeling for a small town guy like me.
I feel there's been a lot of talent coming out of that area I'd say really starting with it was you and Mike and a few others around that time, but then it's been even more just churning out of that Tennessee area, putting up a lot of big scores in the NCAA nowadays.
It's honestly, it's a testament to the head coach of Gym Tech. Matt has just been an incredible coach. I mean, I think this year he had 6 different gymnasts go into the NCAA across Illinois, Oklahoma. You had Greenville as well. We have just a couple others. So it's really, really cool to see that.
Now moving over to high bar, we have Caleb Filippo again. Starting off with a Yamawaki, up into the endo, right into that pirouette, little off handstand. Now winding up into his Tkachev, and immediately into the pike Tkachev. He'll get bonus for that connection there. Gearing up for his dismount. Laid out double again. That's a big routine for Caleb there. I mean, that's 3 big releases, some nice in-bars, few angles there, but a huge dismount. That's going to be a pretty high-scoring routine for him there.
And Caleb's been putting up some big routines this competition in general. This is his 3rd or 4th event he's been on today.
Yeah, he's been putting up some solid routines, super powerful, but also balancing it with really nice execution. That's a real recipe for success there that he's putting together.
It looks like up on P-bars we got Michael Avery. Nice Homna to handstand. Nice Healy. Massive front uprise into a good front 1 1/4. I like these reverse pirouettes that we're seeing, James.
That's a fun little twist on a simple skill, but it makes all the difference in style. And a nice big double front to finish it off there from Michael Avery.
That was a big double front. I do like that we're seeing a little bit of uniqueness when it comes to these P-bar dismounts. I mean, with they downgraded the double front half, right? So it's the same box as the double front. So now these guys, there's no reason to put in that extra effort to do the half twist.
Exactly. It opens up the door for more double fronts. It used to be all back double pikes off of P-bars, but now gives a bit more of a variety to this, which makes it real fun. We move over to high bar. We got Felix Kreidman starting with the in-bar endo. Nice variant on the traditional endo. Up into the jam. Pretty smooth. He does a second endo there. Nice to the handstand. He needs to work in a release here now. Pulls into the Takacha. Nice swing out there, leaving minimal room for error. Installed her and starting to gear up for his dismount.
Oh, that was a big dismount.
That was a big dismount. I mean, it was not as high of value as the other two, but it flew really nicely up and had super clean execution. So a big routine and a big dismount there for Felix.
I think that'll be a good scoring routine for Springfield.
Yeah, definitely. That was a super smooth, super clean, left very little to the judges there.
Okay, up next on P-bars for Greenville. We do see a nice start with a jump to L. That was a pretty peach to hand. A good giant. He's working that underbar. Little bit of a balance check right there for Mr. Clapper. And a big double front once again. Tiny little hop on that, but he looks excited. He looks hyped. He's pretty happy with the way that routine went. I think the rest of the team follows his lead.
Yeah, solid routine there and really solid from Jackson. Now we move over to our final high bar routine from Springfield. We have Owen Carney. He's been anchoring a lot of these events for Springfield today. Starting off in the mixed grip here. Goes right up into a front giant. Into the Weiler. Super fun, unique in-bar skill. And doing that tap jam up into a Takamoto. Really nice up towards the handstand there. Lays back into a layout Takachi. Big release move there. Up into the straddle Takachi. Pulls into a Stalder. Now gearing up for the dismount. Double layout. And just a little step there. That's a big routine for Owen Carney.
That was a big routine. Wow. I'm honestly pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, I mean, that talk, we haven't seen anyone do a Takamoto yet today. That's a D-value skill and super difficult to do. But he did it really well. Layout Takachi is super smooth and the straddle as well, leaving very little deduction there and some pretty high-value skills for a high-bar routine.
So it looks like up next for Greenville on P-bars, we do have Mr. Loreno.
And like we were saying in the transition here, this is a 5th extra routine here, so probably not a counting score.
So Kevin's getting ready. He's a P-bar, high-bar guy from Las Vegas, Nevada. Ooh, starts off with a Gatson to underbar. Never seen that.
That was a huge skill there.
That was really cool. I like this uniqueness that we're getting to see within the NCAA now. These guys are really having fun with it. I will say, doing a Healy towards the end of the bars, that is a little bit scary, so props to him. And a Bobstar. Okay, this routine is a little bit stacked. I can see why he's the anchor.
Yeah, this is a big set right here.
A little bit of a flop there, but he's keeping it good. No dismount. Seems like he just maybe he might have an ankle injury, something like that. But that was big overall, just for practice in general.
Yeah, that was a massive set. I mean, absolutely stacked between that Healy, the Gatson to one bar, Healy on the end, and the Bobstar. That's a huge routine. And if he puts a dismount at the end of that could be a super high scoring routine.
I want to go back and do the replay of that Gatson to one bar. I have never seen that, and honestly, that looked really cool.
Yeah, that was a super unique skill. One of those really fun variants on the Gatson's already a pretty unique skill, but doing it off to the one bar and then kipping out of it like that, that's a super fun variant and really cool innovation there from Kevin.
I have seen an influx of people doing... Go ahead with the scores.
Oh, scores, yeah. We got, about a 5-point differential here. Greenville leading 258.4 to Springfield's 253.7. But a super locked on lineup here, basically. I mean, you see zero difference in the first score, 0.3, 0.1, 0.05. So basically, still super close scoring between these two teams going into the last rotation. Back to you, Asad.
No, I mean, I think it's a big testament to see some of these uniqueness, the uniqueness within these routines, especially with the 8 skills coming in. These guys are really able to have a little bit more fun with it. We're seeing less uniformity, and that's really like the essence of gymnastics itself. It's the artistic aspect, and I really love to see it coming back. I do think, and I could be corrected on this, but the Gatson itself has been upgraded because he's not the first gymnast that I've seen in this season that has thrown a Gatson into their routine. That is not a skill that you saw over the past 10 years. You did have Jason Gatson do it. I had a former teammate that was coached by Jason Gatson, so he was incredible at the skill. But I do find it really cool, and I'm excited to see skills like that kind of come back and take more of a presence within this new NCAA format. And just the artistry of gymnastics in general really coming back in. This is going to be a fun season.
Yeah, and I think you're right about that, Asad. If you look at the new code of points, the Gatson 1 was upgraded from a D to an E, and the Gatson 2 from an E to an F. So one of the reasons why we see these people moving, or these guys moving onto those skills, is because there's just a little bit more value in them. And before, it wasn't quite worth the effort to do them, but now it is. One of those other things, I mean, the Healy used to be super popular. Now it's been downgraded to a C. And part of the reason why you see fewer people doing it, we saw obviously Kevin still did it super clean, but that is a scary skill to do for a C value. It used to be that it was kind of just worth it because it was a D, but now, we're going to see a lot more variety in those routines, and that's super fun to watch. Just makes those routines, a little bit more exciting.
One of those other changes that we're seeing as well is the peach to one hand. I do think that was a change that might have been made in the last quad that's kind of translated over to this one, but that peach to one hand, any one bar skills in general, they have to come down with the Healy. You can't just push back over to the second bar. So that skill in general has honestly dissipated throughout all of NCAA and FIG in general. You don't really see those very much anymore. You're going to see a lot more peach to peach halves, peach fulls, but you're not really going to see any of those peach to one bars anymore.
Yeah, it used to be super popular to go peach to 1 and then fall, and just fall right back to the second bar, kind of just tap the 1 bar handstand and move over. Then they started adding, you had to hold for a second, and then they now have changed it so you have to Healy out, which basically makes it so much more difficult. You have to have real control over the skill. And of course, some people can do that, but for a lot of people that were using it as an easy E, not an option anymore, and just, makes them start to think outside the box and find some other different skills as well.
I do have a question, James. So when that last guy that just went up, Kevin, up on P bars, when he did that Gatson, was it a Gatson 2? Because he went all the way around, right? Or was it a Gatson 1?
I would think that would count as a Gatson 2 because of the, like you said, the full rotation around. I think that counts as a Gatson 2 for an F.
But because he went down to underbar, is there a connection bonus that he was able to grab off of that?
No, unfortunately, there's no connection bonus on P-bars still, something I would like to see personally, but no connection bonus on P-bars there.
That's still, if anyone's listening, USAG, FIG, honestly, that's something y'all should consider. I do think connection bonuses on P-bars would be really cool. We'd see so much more uniqueness, and I think it'd just bring a little pizzazz to the event in general.
Exactly. I think we see it on floor. It's super fun. High bar, also fantastic. And P-bar is another place we could add a really fun connection bonus, whether it's through an uprise or through a direct swing or maybe going off to one side. I think there's a lot of great options there, and it would add a lot of variety to the event as well. And now we're back on P-bars. We have Carter Cacciardo right into his double front, which just comes up a tad short there.
Still a good start for Springfield. It's the beginning of the season. They're doing the best they can right now, and you're going to take some of those falls here and there, but they'll keep pushing through. But up on high bar for Greenville, we got Michael Avery. He's been a contender on several different events today. Let's see if he puts up a big routine up on high bar.
He has certainly been putting in some work today. Starting off with an endo up, dropping into that nice pirouette there, kind of funky with the tap. Winds up into a straddled Tkachev. Big height there, into the one-arm giant, really just laying into it. Super stylish, super good. And the dismount now, double-double. Just a tad hop there, but nice chest up on the landing. Really good routine there to start it off on high bar for Greenville.
That was a powerful routine. You know that he's pretty happy with finishing that one off. You know, I find it just insane that people do these one arms in the middle of their routine. How are you doing some releases and then just drop into one arm? I don't understand how that grip strength takes place, but you know, these guys are just incredible and they really train their hands.
Yeah, I mean, I've done one arms, but only at the first skill of the routine or at the first skill of a sequence. I'm way too scared to do that after any sort of a release or really anything else.
I mean, one of the big guys that would always do that would be Yoel Dower. So, I mean, quick shout out to some, you know, an alum, a former Olympian, but he did always do it at the end of his routine. Okay,
Yeah,
it does
he
look
did
like
that.
up on Springfield for P-bars, we have Caleb Palacio. Caleb, again, is one of those guys that's been on the lineup for several different routines on Springfield today. And kip right up to handstand. Solid to pelt. A little bit of an angle deduction on those on those handstands, but he's controlling it as best as he can. A good front 1 1/4. A little hop right there, but again, he's keeping the balance as best as he can. Wow, another double front dismount. I mean, I didn't realize how prominent that's become within the NCAA. I guess it really makes sense, right? Because it's a category as an E, right?
I think it still is an E. You got to double check that, but it's yeah, pretty high valued, and yeah, a lot of people are starting to do it now with that updated sort of front uprise technique that's then become popularized with the slide. When we move back over to high bar now, we got Sergey Popov, we saw on rings earlier, starting with an endo up. Stoops into his in-bar endo. Winding up into his Tkachev now, straddle. Little bit of a boss there on the giant out, but not too bad. Stalder out of that. Now starting to wind up for the dismount. Double with a little step there, but really nice for Sergey.
I think all these guys that put up a double dismount from Greenville today on high bar. One of the other unique things that I've noticed, James, is the in-bar stalder and endos. I believe those have either been upgraded or something, because a lot of these guys are really putting them in their routines.
Yeah, so it used to be that an in-bar endo or in-bar stalder was just a B skill, same value as the regular endo or stalder, but they split it out and gave it a 1/10 upgrade. So that in-bar endo or in-bar stalder is a C and a different skill from the endo or stalder, which gives it a nice kind of, you can stack the value with them and you get an upgrade to it. Just brings a little bit of fun twist to the sort of boring in-bar skills that we're used to.
No, that's pretty fun. Okay. Up on Springfield, up on P-bars, we do see an athlete from Springfield, starting off with a nice peach to hand to a good to pelt. Peach to support, holding that L really well. Oh, solid double front dismount, small step. He looks happy. Team looks happy. Great routine.
Yeah, really solid routine there from Blaze Rousseau. That was just super clean across the board. No major deductions in there. Pretty solid start value as well, so he should be really happy with that.
So we got Jacob Foster up on high bar from Greenville.
Let's see what Jacob's got for us. He looks like he's going to jump up on his own to start out the routine here, which is definitely allowed. A little bit unique, though. Not everyone can do that.
Yeah, we don't need to know that you're that tall, Jacob.
Yeah, nice Yamawaki though. He started off, and that is tough when you're that tall to be swinging like he is here. But he's got some really nice momentum here, picking up into a quast. He's a little bit off the handstand.
And you do see the separation of the mats because he is so tall. He has to pull those apart so that he can get these swings as powerful as he can.
Finishes up
Triple
here.
back dismount.
Triple back.
Whoa!
That
was
huge
massive. That was crazy.
And that was a big set. I mean, it looked pretty smooth all the way through. The Yamawaki, and then that adds a lot of value. And that triple back to end is a huge value skill. That was another one that was upgraded in this guy's squad. Going up 1/10 as well. The big routine from Jacob Foster there. Now we head over to the final routine of the day for Springfield. We have Felix Friedemann.
I have a feeling that this is going to be a pretty good routine for Springfield. I mean, he is the anchor. He's been up a few other times throughout the meet today. And he just looks locked in general.
Yeah, he's had some pretty solid performances, and I mean, following up that first routine, this one must be pretty good to go in the anchor spot.
Good handstand hold. Teach to hand. A little bit of a struggle, but he pushes right up. Nice stutz. Another good peach to hand. He's controlling himself back to where he needs to be. And a great double pike. I love to see it. That's the gymnastics that I'm a big fan of. Finished off that routine pretty clean.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, one bobble there in the middle on that Dion, but otherwise a super clean routine from Felix. And solid ending for the meet there with Springfield. Now we have two final routines over on high bar. We have Donovan Devaney and then Dane Kramer to round out the end of the meet here.
Donovan's another big contender for Greenville. He's been on several events today. Starts off with a big Yamawaki.
Nice. To the Zuli Min. Full twist on one arm. Super difficult. Up into the Takamoto.
Another one arm.
One-arm giant. Got to balance it out, I guess. They have double-double with a little hop. But super nice routine there from Donovan.
Yeah, he looks pretty happy with that. The team looks hype. You know that he's going to be he's going home pretty happy today.
Definitely. That was a big day for Donovan. He pulled it through on all the events, basically. I mean, he had a really solid routine just across the board there. We do have one final one. Dane Kramer will be going as well on high bar here. We're just waiting for these final scores to pour in from Felix and Donovan before we can, make any call about what the result of the meet will be.
Looks like it's gonna be a close one. I'm pretty impressed that Springfield was able to crack a 300 today. They're continuing to make a name for themselves within the NCAA, and they'll be a decent contender this year. I know in the past couple of years they've made and qualified as a full team to the NCAA championships.
Yeah, and doing that as a Division III team, I mean, that's really impressive. I mean, it's just a different level of funding and support that the school offers you, but what they've done with that is really, really impressive and something they should be proud of. The kind of teams and lineups that they've been putting together with a totally different funding structure than some of like the Big Ten teams is really super amazing. Move into our last routine here with Dane Kramer. Starts out with a nice little endo up there. Scooping in here. Nice little jam up to the handstand. Eagle Giant rolling out there. Smooth pirouette. Gearing up into the Takacho. Pulls it out super clean and smooth here for Dane. Stalled her right up to the handstand as well. Lays into a big dismount, double tuck full. And a really nice routine there for Dane.
Wait, James, you know what I just realized? That was the first L grip that we saw on this entire high bar rotation.
Yeah, good you pointed that out. I mean, we saw a lot of other jams and Takamotos in there, but no one else did an L Giant this entire meet. Dane was the only one that did that, and he did it super well, too. That's a tough skill to do. One of those things that it's a little bit of a relic in some ways, and he did it super nicely there. So nice routine there from Dane to finish off that meet.
Okay, it looks like Greenville posted up with a 3:08.35. Springfield with a 3:01. I mean, I gotta do a little bit of digging real quickly, but I'm pretty sure Greenville just jumped up at least 2 spots in the ranking for their team, because the 3:08 is pretty big.
Yeah, that's a huge score from Greenville as a team there. I mean, they had a massive day. I think overall we saw 2 falls the entire meet. Neither of them were Springfields, which means that they had basically I would say a 24 for 24, but actually they had a 26 for 26 meet, given that they had 2 non-counting alternates who, both hit their routines as well. And if we look at the high for Greenville so far this year, they've cracked the 3:03 before, and that puts them as a 5-point jump compared to where they were before. And if we talk about average scores, that would place them right up around number 10 in the country. With the average score for Army, who's sitting at number 8, the high score for Army, who's sitting at number 8, is a 3:08.3. So that means Greenville's a real contender to get into the top 10 potentially, if they can keep putting up performances like this.
I mean, if we're being honest, I'm going on Road to Nationals right now, and it looks like they just topped Air Force's average with a 3:05, Navy's average with a 3:06, Cal's average with a 3:07, Army's average with a 3:07. I think Greenville just put themselves in the top 10 for the Road to Nationals this year, which is honestly a really big deal for a new emerging school like that. I'm gonna give them some big props today.
Yeah, that's a massive performance. I think this is one of, I would say, I have watched a bit of them the last few years, and this is the most confident I've seen this team. They've put together, basically 100% hit rate across the board. I'm sure Coach Zach Peters will probably find some way that they can still improve still, but this is a massive day for them, and really, really props to them for putting together such an incredible performance on their senior night.
It looks like with...
Now we have the event totals here. Will Wilson winning the floor title with a 13.45. We saw that massive routine earlier from him. A lot of power there and really well executed as well.
I mean, these scores are pretty slim apart, right? You got a 13.45 taking the gold from Will Wilson, 13.25 from Jackson Clapper from Greenville, and a 13.2 from Caleb Palacio from Springfield. I mean, these are only 2.5 tenths apart, not even.
Yeah, super close. But here's where you start to see the difference. You see the pommel horse scores, Greenville pulling up all 4 of the top spots there. That's pretty massive. And that's where
Matthew Roth's dad's going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, 14-1, that is a huge score, especially on pommel horse. And I would bet if we look at the pommel horse, individual standings, let's see, what's the high score for this year? Yeah, this would place him in the top 10 high scores of the year, the 14-1. So that's going to be a massive jump for him as well. I mean, that's, like we were talking about, that is NCAA All-American type potential with that routine that Matthew Roth put up today. Over to rings, we had Blaise Rousseau taking home the title with a 13 even. We had, I would say, quite tight scoring on rings by the judges here today. They found a lot of deductions there. There's quite a bit that was found there that was pretty tough. And I think this is the event where we saw Springfield had the biggest jump over Greenville today. We see only one Greenville competitor, Ricky Mays, making it into the top 5 even.
I mean, one thing I've noticed about these last 3 scorers have been the highest difficulty gymnast has been the one to take the lead. So difficulty this year is going to be a massive reasoning why some of these guys are taking the top scores.
Yeah, it's so much harder to set yourself apart with only 8 skills. Which just shows that how important that is. And of course, we knew who would be winning vault. Caleb Palacio with that huge handspring double front. 14.15, the only score to beat out Matthew Roth on vault, or across the whole meet, was this vault. Doing a little bit quick math here on Road to Nationals, 14.15. Yeah, that could get him to crack the top 20 on vault this year for high scores. So that's another massive performance from Springfield here.
Nah, if he just keeps that up, he's definitely gonna be a shoo-in. Oh, and Jackson taking a nut. Well, he's taking a gold on parallel bars as well. The 13.25. This does take away from my theory earlier that the highest difficulty routine does take the gold place. He actually doesn't have the highest difficulty today, but he did finish up in first place, the 13.25, and then my boy Jacob Foster, the 12.95 in second place, and Michael Avery from Greenville on with a 12.6. Wow, Greenville with a sweep of 1, 2, and 3 on P-bars. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that's not even counting Kevin Larino, that last routine that we saw with no dismount, scored a 10.9, which 10.9 without an element group and without that extra skill counting, that's pretty big. And he could be looking at a big score potentially in the future there, if he can put it all together.
And it looks like for high bar, Owen Carney from Springfield, 13.2. The difficulty of a 14.2, sorry, with a 4.2. I mean, coming in high for Springfield. Donovan Davini from Greenville with a 12.75, same difficulty, just a little bit under, taking that second place. And we have a tie for third, Jacob Foster and Caleb Palacio from Springfield, and Jacob again from Greenville, 12.6, 12.6. You can see that difference in difficulty for both these guys taking third, a 3.8 and a 4.2. So honestly, that execution does really matter.
And that's where they catch up with you. But yeah, massive scores all around here. And we had no full all-arounders here, but the winner of that competition is Caleb Palacio, competing 4 events and picked up 52 total points for Springfield. That's a really significant contribution to make there across the board for his team.
And then one of the names we keep seeing. Yeah, Jackson Clapper and Ricky Mays.
And you see, I mean, everyone in those top scores here, all the way down through Felix Friedman, those are all 3 or more events, which is, that's really tough to be competing at such a high level on multiple events across the board. Of course, it's difficult on any one event or 2 events, but it gets more and more difficult. The more events you add into that stack, it just gets more and more tough. It means you have to spread your effort across all of those different disciplines, and to still perform at that high of a level is really impressive.
I would say what's honestly more impressive is just with the 4-up-4 count, these guys are doing more than 3 events, or up to 3 events at a time. That is difficult to make those kind of lineups. So honestly, props to those guys. Again, with that total, Greenville did take the lead today with a 308.35. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with this score today. I'm pretty excited to see where they're gonna go. And Springfield with a 301.25. I have no doubt that they're gonna bring it back up throughout the rest of the season. They weren't competing on their home turf. They had traveled a little bit, so you never know. The next meet they might pop right back up.
Yeah, only a couple misses from Springfield, but a solid performance overall from them, and definitely a team to watch out for. I mean, breaking 300 on an off day is still really solid, and you see none of those scores or none of those event totals super far off from that mark of 50, which is really solid for them. So they're staying consistent across the board, even with a few dips here and there. And you see the only place where Greenville was well below the 50 mark was Still Rings. They had a 48.05. That was kind of their one weak spot, but otherwise really consistent across the board. super strong performance, especially pommel horse with 53.1. That's a pretty solid mark to bring in for pommel horse, especially. And with that, we're going to wrap up our broadcast for today. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll hope to see you watch another competition here soon.
Thank you guys. This is so